boomerfied. We are talking about the cancel pigs themselves getting canceled. And, you know, they've admitted to their mistakes now and they're changed people.
I don't believe you.
Do you believe that, Badger? Or have they changed?
The UFC is getting money from Bud Light. Saturday Night Live is now hiring people to host that they once got rid of, which thank God they did that, because Shane Gillis is super funny, super based, does a bunch of things that he would have gotten fired for anyway on Saturday Night Live, and they changed, not him. And now, yeah, they're capitulating. This is them. Between the woke getting the money and us getting the money, might as well give the money to us. Shows we're the winning side. And it might
look at me.
Slightly
look
funny.
At me.
Yeah.
We are the media now. Shane Gillis to host Saturday Night Live 5 years after he was fired from the show for offensive comments. Whenever I see something like that, which you don't see it as often now, I'm like, oh, what are those offensive comments? They're probably hilarious.
Gamer words that we all say, joking around with friends and all that. That, you know, maybe we change it a little bit, but he was saying the same things we all say.
Here's the thing, though. They never, ever show it. And I'm always like, I have to go search this out now? Just tell me the hilarious gamer words he said. Show me the hilarious meme that he shared.
Even if they did, they would give it in the most, like, the least charitable version of it. They wouldn't tell you the context, or he was mimicking someone, or...
Here's Shane Gillis bullying the whatever community. After it was announced that Gillis will serve as host later this month, users on X, formerly Twitter... Oh, my God. Why are you saying... I'm so... Worse than the name change is the formerly Twitter that every news site has to put. Reacted with one writing, I'm so sorry, but like, Shane Gillis was literally every other entertainer on planet Earth booked that week? No, they just don't want to have SNL destroy their careers. Did we try all the professional athletes? We want LeBron on there. Letting Shane Gillis, an actual comedian, host SNL is pathetic. No, the comedians on SNL are pathetic.
I hope they all boycott and it's just Shane by himself, like two other people, because that's all you need. If you watch any of his YouTube video, not much, Tim. Goddamn, Tim Pool. Whew. It's those teeth. I can't talk. Yeah.
Don't get distracted.
Focus. I hope they all boycott and it's just him and like one or two, because if you watch Gillian Keeves, he's great. He's great at doing bits and spoofs. He's got a ISIS Honda one. He's got Trump speed dating. Like, they're funnier than anything Saturday Night Live has done in a decade.
Well, as we discussed, that's not difficult to do. No. Because why?
Yo, I'm sorry that your wiener is small.
Just hours after Gillis was announced as new SNL cast member alongside other people I've never, ever heard of. The last decade, someone's like, oh, this is a SNL person. And I'm like, who?
If they were slightly funny in the stand-up and then they go on to Saturday Night Live, they become actively less funny because most of them stop doing stand-up. And then, like, when they're not, they try to go back to stand-up and, like, they got nothing left. And you just never hear from them again.
A anti-Asian racial slur resurfaced on X. As someone who identifies as Asian, but turns out actually isn't Asian, I give him permission. So let's just go and retroactively fix all of that.
Yeah, you couldn't fool me. I would just go ahead and claim that one.
Look how many dashes are here. That's great. We need comedians to have more dashes. But Chinatown's effing nuts. Let the effing, okay. Let the effing, I assume this is what they're talking about, live there. I'm a comedian who pushes boundaries. I sometimes miss. If you go through my 10 years of comedy, most of it bad, you're going to find a lot of bad misses. I'm going to say this, stand-up comedy is the lowest form of comedy. Yeah, SNL is an affront to comedy. The boomers who fall asleep and it gets left on before the TV goes to sleep mode.
And I hope Shane Gillis goes in there and does his Trump impression and breaks all of them.
Well, he's happy to apologize to anyone who's actually offended by anything I've said. Why would you do that?
Yeah, I'm not.
That's just like telling them, hey, cancel me, guys. It works. My intention is never to hurt anyone.
I mean, I'm fine with that part.
Nerd Wars does not stand by that statement.
Your intention is to hurt some people.
Emotionally and mentally. Physically, no. I'm a peace kind of guy. We don't need the violence. We've got memes. The resurfaced clip also prompted a further look into the podcast. We got him now, boys. We got to dig through 10 years of stuff. Like, who's he, Carl Lynn? But turns out in other clips he made Islamophobic and misogynistic comments. Please list them. Please list them. So
he did a Chinese accent.
So I can join in on the laughter. We were not aware of his prior remarks that have surfaced over the past few days. Yeah, because they were made like 8 years ago. The language he used is offensive. Aren't you supposed to be Saturday Night Live? But like Norm Macdonald used to be on? hurtful and
who got fired.
Unacceptable. This reminds me, we were just talking on the last stream about how they constantly, CG Project Red, constantly undesirable behavior. We are sorry that we did not see these clips earlier because we didn't dig through his whole social media 8 years, and that our vetting process was not up to our standard. You got a vetting process for SNL hosts and SNL people?
Here's
really?
the joke. Clearly, because I've heard Shane talk about this, clearly they did not listen to anything of his podcast. He's like, oh, all they had to do was go like 2 minutes in to a most recent podcast and gamer words, because that's what it is. It's funny. If you heard the things we all say, what everyone says when they're joking with their friends, when you're trying to make people laugh, of course you say salacious stuff. That's what makes people go, oh, he said it. It's a very good.
He's out of line, but he's right.
Yeah.
Recalling his firing in a 22 episode of Gillis said that he made a bad joke, but clarified, I'm not saying I shouldn't have been fired. I've never denied. I'm not saying I shouldn't have been. He's saying he should have been fired.
He went into Lauren and said, I understand if you want to let me go. And Lauren was like, oh, no, it's fine. And then I think people got to Lauren and he was like, okay, yeah, we have to. Because the backlash got so. But they listened to the backlash. That's why they gave it the energy it had. If you just ignore it. Remember when we used to ignore Twitter?
I stopped ignoring chat for a second.
Told me to ignore it. Now I see why. Yeah, locker room talk is what it is, by the way.
How dare you?
Sorry, there's going to be a lot of moments where I'm like, hold on a second, I need to play a meme. I'm working on it, all right?
You are fined 1 credit for a violation of the verbal morality standard.
Fuck you.
Yes, that was my contribution. There we
Hold
go.
up. There it is.
Jay. Hi, Jay. Big fan. Big fan.
Wow. We are a very professional side around here. Controversial podcast host Joe Rogan signs a new deal with Spotify for up to a reported 250, just a cool $250 million. Wasn't he supposed to be canceled? I forget.
He was, and clearly people like it's sad that, and I know people make jokes about it. Like if you listen to Joe Rogan, it's a red flag now to women in this generation, apparently. But for a while there, especially during all the fun, 2020 to 2022, some of the only actual medical information with like real legit doctors that he was having was the only place you could get it. Everywhere else, like remember they put a filter on his face when he took the ivermectin.
Horse paste.
Okay, yeah, right.
Authentic people having real conversations instead of having the conversations that sponsors and Pfizer tells them that they're allowed to have. Turns out people really like that. The show is consistently Spotify's most popular podcast, but also a frequent cause of controversy for the company. Is it actually a cause of controversy, or is it just a bunch of bots crying on Twitter?
A little bit of column A, a little bit of column B, but mostly those you don't even listen to the show.
Well, most notably, Spotify came under huge pressure. The pressure was enormous, according to the Associated Press, in 2022 to drop Rogan over his anti-super duper safe schmaxines, we love Pfizer comments and use of racial slurs. Like Joe Biden? I got that clip too. You want me to pull that clip up?
Yeah.
That's a hard R. Twice in like 7 seconds. So Neil Young, who pulling their music from the platform in protest. Remember when rock stars used to be rock stars and rebels? Wasn't that pretty cool idea?
He didn't even know. I bet you people just told him, and okay.
Yeah.
Then he asked for it to go back up, by the way, like 2 months later.
I support the current thing until I start losing money over it, and then I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to go back on the current thing.
If you had fully looked into it, if Neil Young had really looked at all the studies and be like, well, I still think it's advantageous for this age, but he doesn't.
Wait, you just expected someone to do a little bit of research instead of just reading a headline?
They tell you not to. They tell you. Remember when it used to be get a second opinion?
How dare you?
No, continue. I'm not always trying to steal your spotlight.
No, I was just going to say, now if you get a second opinion, it's...
Shame. Shame.
Whoa, now. Hey, I'm the captain now. All right, just in case you forgot.
If there's anything more important than my ego on this ship, I want to cut and shut right now. Hey, come on.
I'm glad Joe's not going anywhere. I used to listen to Howard Stern 15 years ago when he was relevant before he went mainstream.
Gross.
Yeah,
that's worse than Saturday Night Live.
Yeah, he was good once. Anyway, and he used to make fun of podcasts and all that. And now it's like, oh, bro, podcasts are it.
I was wrong. You were right. You're the best. I'm the worst.
Get access to exclusive videos, and become a producer at my Subscribe Star. Links in the description.